Alright, hi everybody, it's Maximus Grahamicus here, and I'm about to take you through a walkthrough of my gear and the build that I use for normal farming here. This will be different than for Torment, that'll be a different video, but for normal farming, this is what I use. It's basically an area effect spell build here. So starting off with, I guess the best is the weapon here. It has 2300 deeps. But the main part about this is the proc that's on the weapon. Gain a soul stack on kill. After reaching 10 stacks, you release a poison explosion for 500% weapon damage in 30 yards. 30 yards, that radius is huge. It pretty much wipes like everything that's in that radius when it goes off. This is my main hand weapon here for the faster attack speed, and I actually get more damage with 8% extra damage than I do from 5% crit. So for Weapons Master, which is one of my passive abilities, daggers actually give more damage than axes and maces and stuff now, as well as swords, which is very cool. So there's the sword there. Nothing really special on that except it has extra damage to beasts and humans, but through farming bags in Act 4 mostly, there's not very many beasts or humans, so that doesn't really help me too much here. But there it is, fast attack speed. The ring. It's a nice trifecta ring. It's got lots of strength, attack speed, crit damage, crit chance, and taking fire damage restores my primary resource, which is fury, which is fantastic. So standing in that molten fire or that desecration, just fills my fury back up pretty much instantly. These are my old Innis pants that have been re-rolled to suit the new needs of my Barbarian here. So it came with high vitality, 195 vitality and 9 attack speed, and it came with dex, because it's in his pants. But I re-rolled that dex into 308 strength, and now these pants are better than anything you can find in the new Reaper of Souls, at least that I have come by, with the exception of maybe one pair of pants that are bugged, and that would be these right here, where you gain an aura that deals 1000% of your life per second within 20 yards. But it's bugged, and unfortunately it turns around and starts killing you in the process. So, until these things get fixed, these are the best we got right here. Got my belt. Strength, fit, all res, life regen, and opening up a chest or a body on the ground, one of those little angels that's like strapped to a pole, an armor rack, a weapon rack, a loose stone, any of that stuff, opening up that stuff, any of that stuff doubles my damage. It says 100% increased damage. It literally is. It doubles the damage for 10 seconds whenever I tap one of those things. So that there is awesome sauce. This is just another trifecta ring. It needs an upgraded ruby in there. The strength isn't very high. But once that thing gets a ruby like this thing here has, and once it has like 280 strength in it, then it's going to be a ball and ring. These are the bracers here, with strength, fit, crit chance, life per hit, and every time I destroy an object that's just like that's a barrel or anything like that, any type of object, gives me a 50% speed burst for, it's about 5 seconds. So that's amazing. I love these bracers. And I keep these other bracers here in my inventory, these Nemesis bracers, because they spawn an enemy elite every time you tap a shrine. So whenever you come up to a shrine, just toss those on. Tap the shrine, get your buff. It'll spawn an elite pack, just throw down an avalanche, and it'll whoop their ass instantly, and then just put back on your other bracers. And, it's a decent way to increase your loot farming and possibly find some extra legendaries. And considering they die so quickly, it's not like it really stops and eats up extra time to do that. These are my bracers here. Just they're only 13 strength and 4 crit damage shy of being perfect for a rare drop in terms for damage. I typically use these for farming. If I'm farming in a party, in a group, for bags, I will use these. If I was farming by myself, I would probably use these here because they make shrines last for 10 minutes, which solo farming, even on normal for a bag, takes roughly about 10 minutes to do a run. So having these bracers on is just nice because it gives you the shrine buffs for the full duration that you're out there farming. Whereas with these here, you'd only have it for a couple of minutes, but if you're in a group, then it only takes a couple of minutes because you all complete one bounty mission and then you all get a bag. So I would wear these for group, and I would wear these for running around solo. Got my chest piece here. It's Still rare. I haven't found anything better than what I've got here to replace this in terms of a legendary or a set. So it just has high strength, high vitality, 12% life bonus, and 3 sockets with some nice gems in there, which will eventually become perfect royals like this with 280 strength instead of 220. Another one of my favorites here is the shoulders. The Death Watch Mantle just has strength, life bonus, armor, but the main kicker on here for the area effect partness is the 29% chance to explode in a fan of knives for 200% weapon damage when hit. That goes off a lot. It is epic, and you can see it going off several times whenever I get hit. I got the Helm of Rule. I crafted this. I have not found anything better than this to replace it yet, but yes, super high strength. Can only roll up to 750. It has 723 strength, a little lower on the VIP, but that's fine, and 6 crit with a socket for some cooldown reduction, or I could put an amethyst in there for some increased toughness, whatever. And the amulet, 620 strength, 6 attack speed, 100 crit damage, 9.5 crit. Again, this amulet is 5 strength and 0.5% crit chance away from being perfect for damage. Again, for a rare drop. It is very, very high damage. And I almost forgot these. This is the boots, and again, probably another one of my favorite pieces of armor, because it allows me to run through enemies unhindered. So, who needs whirlwind with hurricane, any more thing like that? You can just sprint your way through the enemies right now. So, these are really great boots. So, this is the whole gear setup, and now let's go on to the skills. So, there's a couple of different variations here you can use depending on if you're running around solo or in a party. So either way, I find it's nice. You got 2 options. You can either use Bash with Punishment for increased damage, or you can use Bath with Instigation for increased Fury generation. Just to make things easy, considering I already have pretty much enough damage to one-shot everything in normal, I've just been using Instigation to get extra Fury, just so that I can have more Fury, just to sprint more basically. So like 1 bash, and then I have enough for a sprint, so I can just keep on going. Using Avalanche with Volcanic Eruption, which chunks of molten lava are launched at random nearby enemies, dealing 2400% weapon damage over 5 seconds. And the cooldown of this ability is reduced by 1 second for every 25 Fury that I spend, which is amazing. Again, so having increased Fury generation with Bash and Instigation means I can spend more, and then it reduces this cooldown a lot faster, which is great. Battle Rage with Marauder's Rage, it just increases the damage of it by another 5%, and increases critical chance by 3. So that's just extra damage there. Sprint, and I'm using the Marathon rune. See, so you could use the Charge rune, which would knock back enemies that got in your way, but considering I have my boots on that allow me to run through enemies unhindered anyways, there's not really any point for that, so I just put on the Marathon rune for an extra 40% speed bonus. But another thing you could also do is change this to Run Like the Wind, which still works just as it did. It leaves tornadoes in your wake, deals 60% weapon damage as physical for 3 damage. But it just depends. I mean, you would get extra area effect damage and extra damage, but you lose that speed, and pretty much anything that gets anywhere near me in normal is going to be either killed by my Rend, which is next, the area effect explosion from my weapon, or the area effect explosion from my shoulders. Anything that gets anywhere near me, so if I'm running away, it's because everything is dead, and there's nothing really going to be following behind to chase me, so that's why I don't really bother with this rune right now. So that's Sprint, and then Rend with Ravage, there's a classic. Again, great area effect damage, but they beefed up the damage on Rend here from 700% to 925% weapon damage over 5 seconds. Still 17-yard range on it, though. Wrath of the Berserker, again, got a couple of different options here for depending on what you like to go with. You can use Ariat's Wail here, which is really great. Does 3200% weapon damage to all enemies within 12 yards when you pop Wrath. So basically, you run up to an elite pack, you pop your Wrath, and just the explosion, this explosion here is enough to kill them. And then you've got 15-20 seconds of Wrath mode to run around and just wreck face and clean up. But I prefer, for normal farming and for this situation with this build that I'm in, I still prefer to have Insanity, just because I like to pop my Wrath, before I even find an elite pack. I'll pop my Wrath just for the extra speed boost, or just so that I can, kill 50 enemies in the zone really quickly as I start sprinting towards the boss that I need to kill to complete the bounty. So, just because, if I use this rune, then I'm only saving it for when I come up against an elite pack, whereas if I use this, then I can just more or less pop it whenever and get that extra damage bonus, and I don't feel like it's being wasted. If I come up against an elite pack or a named mob or the boss in a zone that I need to kill to complete the bounty, I can just throw down an avalanche, and one avalanche is enough to do it. That's enough to kill anything that I encounter pretty much in here. So this just gives me extra damage to wreck face through anything else. And so that's that. And yeah, and then the passives here. We've got some new passives, and we got Earth and Might, Rampage, and Sword and Board. Sword and Board is garbage. Blocking generates 20 Fury. Oh, great. Earth and Might is decent for a different build, but gain 50 Fury when activating Avalanche and Earthquake, which is okay. That's for a completely different build, though. And the one I'm using here is Rampage. Increases strength by 1% for 8 seconds after killing or assisting in killing an enemy. This effect stacks up to 25 times. So this works off of a percentage of your overall strength. So I'm sitting on 8,241 strength right now. Increased by 25% is over 10,000 strength. So it really, the more strength you have, the more that really amplifies your damage. And it also increases your toughness as well, because strength gives you damage, but it also gives you armor, and it gives you some increased toughness as well, which is, I find, very helpful. Weapons Master here, so you can see swords and daggers, it's been reduced the damage from 10% down to 8, but that 8% is still the most damage, or at least it's more damage than 5% crit chance from maces and axes is right now. Pole arms and spears do 8% attack speed. Mighty weapons, the fury generation per hit has been reduced from 3 down to 1. So that's not really the best anymore, but so, and then we got Unforgiven for increased fury generation, because it's nice to be able to build up fury and not have it start draining away. It just helps with, again, mobility, getting around, being able to sprint. And then Animosity to further amplify that as well. Increases all my fury generation by 30% and maximum fury by 20. So coupling these two together with Bash and Instigation, and then as my follower I'm using the Templar here with his increased fury generation, which is another 21%. So I've got 21% from him, I've got 30% from my ability here, plus I've got Unforgiven on, and Bash with Instigation. So, with this new spec, we're not getting fury back constantly and endlessly from all the crits from Into the Fray with our battle cry here, our battle rage. So without that, relying on the old school tornadoes and battle rage with Into the Fray to keep our wrath regeneration, we've had to go to more primitive ways, more old school ways of generating fury to keep it up, and this way works fairly well for normal farming. So I'll just run out here and do a quick little test and show. You guys can see it in action. So right now, this is an object. I can hit it, and I can get that speed burst. See the speed burst? That was 2 different procs at once. That was me getting hit and my fan of blades going off, and then I killed 10 enemies with just my fan of blades. So then that procced my weapon explosion at the same time. This quest is bugged. Stupid portal here. Can't go through it. And destroy another object, get a speed burst, destroy another object, get a speed burst, pop on these bracers, hit the shrine, and spawn a champion. Or a unique mob. Whatever. Kill him, he drops the loot, throw on your old bracers, and that's it. And goblins get raped pretty quickly. There's a rare pack, toss down an avalanche, and see, and it just melts through them. Fan of knives and weapons explosions going off all over the place. We do our rend. See, even just 40% bonus instead of 30 on sprint. I mean, you do notice it makes a pretty big difference. It's also nice to have it with, yeah, I just opened up a chest there, and that would be this pink thing down there. It doubles my damage. This little buff right there. Has no icon for it yet. There's the dude. He's down, and that's one bounty mission completed. Let's see if there's a shrine up here, and there is. So let's put it on, and down he goes. And we do this. Got to complete 4 out of 5 missions here, bounty missions in Act 4. Grab your bag, rinse and repeat. And that's the build. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I will have other builds from, more videos for more builds on Torment later on.